Easter eggs in video games aren't supposed to be easy to find, but some developers take that very seriously. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the 8 hardest Easter eggs of 2022. Starting off with number 8, Goat Simulator 3's Imperial Mausoleum. There are a ton of Easter eggs in the recent Goat Simulator sequel, and finding them is pretty much half the reason for playing the game, but most aren't that difficult to uncover. Most of them you can find by looking in the right place, but this specific secret is basically impossible without some kind of guide. The secret can be found in the Broomhill Cemetery, where a quest is going to pop up called the Imperial Mausoleum. Goat Simulator likes to throw these non-sequitur quests at you pretty much all the time, but usually it's not too hard to figure out what the game wants you to do using some context. In this one, all you get are the words Imperial and Mausoleum and some text that says, use the Force to play a march. So, only major landmark in the cemetery is this church, which you can climb on top of using a ladder in the back. Inside the steeple, there's 3 bells, and guess what? You have to use those to solve the quest. Music puzzles are bad enough when you know the song already, but here you're supposed to guess what the game wants. It's not a tough guess per se. Imperial and March are in the text of the quest, so yeah, the Empire's theme. But good luck getting the song right without a guide. Now, the second somebody sees this, once they look it up, it all falls into place. The quest completes, the mausoleum opens, and you get this ridiculous lightsaber called the Pride Saber 2.0, and it exists purely for causing chaos, which it's very good for that. Now, there are more time-consuming quests in Goat Simulator 3, but nothing's quite as difficult as this one unless you have a guide. At number 7 is Titanfall's Time Cop. Titanfall 2 to be specific, and even Titanfall 2 is looking pretty old at this point. Game came out in 2016, so why is this on a list of 2022 Easter eggs? Well, because it was so hard to find that nobody managed to find it until last year. And the only reason anyone knew it existed is because one of the designers went on Twitter and said they snuck in an Easter egg that people hadn't found yet. After that little push, egg hunters managed to dig up the final secret, and it is obscure. In the level Effect and Cause, the one with the time travel gadget that you use to switch between past and present instantly, it's an awesome level, perfect one to hide an Easter egg in, so it's kind of shocking nobody found this egg earlier, but I think one aspect really tripped people up. What you have to do to find it is play through the level normally until you get to the part with the fiery hallway blocked by machine gun turrets. You fall down into the fire, and then you switch to the past so you don't burn up instantly. On one part in the hallway, there's a security door that can't be opened, so you stand in front of it and, not kidding, time swap 88 times. You have to do it super fast to avoid getting killed, but if you do it right, the last time, the door's going to open up in the past, and it reveals a bizarre scene that is right out of Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and the only way that it makes any sense of it is if you've seen the movie, and it'll still kind of leave you scratching your head. Very memorable, have to give it that, but more important, impossible to find, like crazy hard to find. At number 6 is Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, the Dark Souls Easter egg. Another game with its fair share of secrets and Easter eggs, but with most working within the logic of the game, so for the most part, not something we'd put on this list. This one requires you to pull a little trick to figure out, and it's not immediately obvious what to do here. So when you play the Ultra Deluxe version of the game long enough, they eventually take you to this new location called the Stanley Parable 2, which includes a bunch of rooms that let you do things. Not always super exciting, but hey, you can do them now, like jumping. There's a little circle in a room that when you stand on it, it actually lets you jump. Normally the function's disabled, but if you stand there, and only there, the game lets you have the privilege of jumping. What you might not realize is there's actually a way to bring that jump back into the main game. While you're standing in the circle, you just reset the loop and you're free to jump anywhere. It's mostly useless though, except for one random spot. You go into the warehouse and there's a moving platform, you jump down into the vent, off the ledge, you go into this little alternate area. Inside you can find a pile of boxes, and if you jump over them, you'll find a soapstone message right out of Dark Souls that says praise the jumping. There are appraisals, there's a rating, and this is pretty accurate recreation actually. There are a lot of other secrets to find in the game, but this is 100% just an Easter egg, and a pretty tricky one to uncover. At number 5 is Vampire Survivors Missing No, As far as glitches go, Missing No is probably one of the most famous. Found in Pokemon Red and Blue by surfing on a specific tile. These glitched out Pokemon were stuff that you heard in childhood rumors, one of those weird "my uncle works at Nintendo" secrets that actually ended up being real, even if it was just a literal glitch. Like, they weren't intended. Out of all the games, for some reason, Vampire Survivors has the thing hidden as a secret character. Finding it is not easy either. You have to play the Green Acres level on both Hyper Mode and Hurry Mode. Gotta enable both of them. Then you head south and west across 18 tile sets. It's gonna take a while to get where you're going, but once you get there, this area is gonna look real different. These new eyeball enemies appear, and you gotta kill 128 of them to get the character of Missing No. Now that's the standard way to unlock him, but you can also just get this special book of secrets that basically unlocks it for you. It's easier, I admit, but you're not getting this book without putting some serious hours into the game. So it's not like the game hands this guy to you. And they kept this Missing No just as weird and messed up as the real thing, with their stats randomized literally every time you use them. This can lead to some really weird stuff, like if it's got negative health, it'll turn invisible, or if the move speed is on negative, it'll reverse the controls, stuff like that. It's very, obviously a novelty, because pulling off the steps to make it available is time consuming and difficult, and he's not really that big of an advantage, to be clear, if one at all. At number 4 is Hitman 3's Giant Cat Easter egg. Hidden around Ambrose Island, the new level released for Hitman 3 in 2022, there's these lucky cat statues. Most people wouldn't give these things a second glance, but if you've played enough Hitman, they love their secrets, these devs. Does dev stand for devil? Is there some sneaky little devils there? I apologize so much for that. Shooting these things makes them explode in a puff of smoke, so it's pretty obvious these things are connected to some kind of Easter egg. First one's pretty conspicuous, but some of the others are actually kind of hard to find. Like this one hidden in the background of the jungle behind the rope bridge, or this one near some other statues. I mean, you could spend hours searching the map without finding all of them, and seriously, you can only barely see this one hidden beside this water tower, and you can only see it from a really specific angle. So if you find and shoot all 5 of them, then use a fishing rod to blend in on the pier, a giant gold statue of a cat will appear and give you a reward, which is a whole bunch of fish. Not exactly the best reward for all that trouble, but fish actually make some pretty funny weapons. At number 3 is Saints Row's Monolith Riddle. The Saints Row reboot has a lot of dumb little Easter eggs sprinkled all over the place, but this is the only one you really have to work for. In the south of Badlands, there's this monolith with rocks floating around. So obviously 2001 reference. Got it. But there's actually more to it. If you get up close to it, there's a riddle printed on it with some pretty cryptic instructions, and it's not actually nonsense. If you actually follow the text, it'll lead you around the desert till you get to this shack in the middle of nowhere. And this is where the Easter egg gets weird, because it tells you to stray left and howl at the moon twice. Then it says, after you tinkle, you'll find a shack, wait till sundown, bring a bat, wear something pink, and don't forget $20. That's a lot of stuff, but you can do it. The problem is, even if you look at these wolves, go past the porta potty, wait till night, equip a bat, put on all pink, and have $20, it doesn't really seem like anything happens. There's at least a little Easter egg down there. You can find a UFO underground that seems very similar to a scene from The Thing, but you can find that down here anytime. You don't need these instructions for that. At the moment, nobody's managed to figure this one out. The trail just ends here. Maybe the game expects you to do something specific. I don't know. Maybe the timing has to be exactly right. Again, I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody. And at this point, it's possible the whole thing was a big joke by the developers. Maybe it does mean something. Maybe it doesn't. But there's no definitive answer yet. At least to me, I'm thinking it's a big waste of time and they're trying to do a Rockstar-style Bigfoot tease or something. At number 2, did you know there's a secret chapter in Bayonetta 3? Platinum doesn't normally do this kind of stuff. Like, if you want to put them on the Nier Automata thing, I guess, that's not really their typical deal, and those things aren't exactly unexpected. That's how the game works. But hey, it's here. The first clue is this old picture book you can buy at Rodon's store. It seems to serve no purpose, at least for most of the game. You can actually open the book, though, using 3 colored keys that can only be found in obscure spots in 3 different levels. It's weird. The only way anyone's finding these keys is either by spending hours searching every inch of every level or just looking them up. They're not easy to find. Usually they require some really awkward jumps, and the jumps don't seem like they're even really meant to be possible. Obviously they are, but still. With all 3 keys in hand, you can finally open the book in the chapter select, which reveals a completely different sort of game. It's actually a playable teaser for the weird Bayonetta spin-off game they already announced. It kind of kills a surprise, considering they barely waited a few months before announcing the game, but it's still pretty cool and a pretty elaborate little secret. And finally at number 1, Dying Light 2's Doom Easter egg. Dying Light 2 is the Easter egg MVP for 2022. This game has so many little secrets and things to find, it's kind of bizarre. From hoverboards to broomsticks to bicycles to developer rooms, all kinds of goofy secret powers. There's so much to talk about, and a lot of this stuff is not easy to get. By far the toughest though is the Doom secret. To even find this place, you got to clear out of the massive tower in the downtown section of the game, return to the basement, find a hallway with a door that used to be closed, which it's now opened. You take the elevator down, you find this bizarre ritual room with a bunch of altars and a pentagram in the center, and finding this place is the easy part. So now you got to get a whole bunch of black rubber ducks hidden in the most obscure spots on the map. Seriously, these things were very tough to find. Pretty much every Easter egg hunter out there was looking for these things for like a week, seriously a solid week, and the entire community still struggled to find them. But now all you have to do is look up their locations, and even then it can still be tough getting to them because they tend to be in places you're not supposed to go, just along the edge of the map. Once you have all of them, you place them on the altars, and guess what? Nothing happens. You got to take the wires and create the pentagram with them. That completes the ritual and sends you into a challenge map based on the original Doom. It's hilarious, honestly, and the one time the game actually lets you cut loose with a gun, basically because it has infinite ammo. And that's not the only secret here. There's also a Special Force choke blueprint hidden in this level, and that's great. There's so many secrets in Dying Light 2. They hide secrets in secrets. It's overkill, but for Easter egg lovers, it's fantastic.
And that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on GameRanx.